All right, and host. Okay. Now, before we get straight into today's episode, here are some things that I want you to think about before we get into this. If you are tuning in on Facebook or any other social media platforms, share the word. Share this episode within 5 groups that you think will be very valuable for our discussion. Now, let's take a moment to introduce, of course, who I tried earlier, Tiara.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tiara Hanley, and I am a junior in high school. I'll be bringing you the NCZ news. So, our month's highlights are National Breast Cancer Awareness Month and Blindness Awareness Month. National Breast Cancer Awareness Month is observed every October to raise awareness about breast cancer, its early detection and treatment options. The month aims to educate the public about the importance of regular screenings, promote research funding, and support those affected by the disease. Pink ribbons are widely used as a symbol of solidarity and hope during this time. Blindness Awareness Month is observed in October to promote awareness about vision impairment and blindness and to educate the public on pre- prevention, treatment, and support for those affected. The month highlights the importance of eye health, encourages regular eye exams, and advocate for accessibility and inclusive for individuals with visual impairment. Va- Various organizations and communities engage in activities and events to raise awareness and support research initiatives. Also, follow us on Twitter and YouTube under educational entities. That's the NCZ News. Let's go to NCC's games, movies, and more.
All right. So, for this month, we have two new things within the tech industry. Of course, it's going to be with Apple, which is with them creating a new chip, which is the M4 chip. This is to help the iMac and the, I believe, iMac Mini to increase its power and efficiency. And this is also going to help them redesign, including more capable parts as we all use now, which is a C-type charger. And this is going to be its first real major design since 2010. And of course, we got another thing from Apple, which is iOS 18.1. This is also going to include new features for Apple Intelligence or Apple AI for the iPhone. This will help with enhanced notifications, writing tools, and other AI features. So, before we get into this episode, of course, I would like to kind of recap on what we said last or for our preview. So, Tierra, if you would like to.
In episode 1 of season 1, we kicked off by dividing into crucial topics of school safety and the wake of violent inductions, especially focused on school safety and the aftermath of violence. Students speak out on the tragedy that took place within Borough County, rural areas of Georgia, exploring the emotional and physical toll that such tragedies leave behind. We aim to shed light on the challenges schools face in preventing violence and how students, educators, and communities can come together to create safer environments for learning.
Okay, so today this is
So it seems Jovan is having a technical issue. So I'll just keep going. So let's delve straight into the conversation. Welcome back, Students for Equity. We're excited to have you all here today. We're especially thrilled to introduce a new member, which is me. So our topic today is prioritizing mental health resources and support for students and staff. To go over some questions, our first question is what resources are available at your school to support the mental health of students and staff? So, me personally, my school, we've been having more conversations, more intimate conversations about health, how we're doing, because we're not there every day. So, in between the days, what are we doing to have our mental health, up to par? How are we speaking to anyone? So, yeah, we've been having more conversations about that, not only just about education, but about how we're doing personally in our personal lives. Our next question is how can students and staff effectively access mental health support when needed? I say speaking up and reaching out. Um, you can always go on Google to look up some places that give out therapy. Also, speaking to someone you can trust, someone you know that actually have good advice, and not just gonna tell you what you want to hear, but actually tell you the truth. So I say that's a big part. Finding someone that is compatible with you, that you know is gonna you're gonna sit well with. Our third question is in what ways can prioritizing mental health contribute to improved academic performance and workplace productive? I say when you I wouldn't say not put your work first, but when you put yourself first, you work harder on what you're supposed to be doing. If you're working, not just devoting your time completely on working, not doing anything for yourself, just constantly thinking about working, not getting rest. I think that's not healthy. You need to find time to have your own like self-care days. Find time to have your own space. Yeah, find time to have your own space. Take time for yourself. Do things that make you happy. Even if work makes you happy, do things outside of work. Talk to your friends. Go out. You can stay in, but like, you know, be with yourself sometimes. Our fourth question: what strategies can be implemented to foster a more supportive environment for mental health discussions on campus? Um, a more supportive environment for mental health discussions on campus. I say when having people around that you feel more open to talk to. Cause yeah, like we can speak to our teachers, we can speak to our friends, but having people you can actually be honest with, and just not feeling like oh you have to say only say certain things, but otherwise you'll feel like it'll be turned around on you or something like that. Yeah. Our fifth question: how? Oh, John's back. Okay,
My bad. My phone was
thank you.
acting up. But what question you stopped at, TR?
We're on five, but you can go. You can answer all of them if you would like.
We just gonna keep in the pace that you had it. So with our fifth question, do peers support programs enhance mental health awareness among students? I'm gonna let you start on that one because you're more in the healthcare field than me.
Okay. Um, I feel like they do help, but you have to have certain people. Yeah, you have to have certain people when you're working with your peers, working with students specifically. Well, me personally, I don't. Well, students not, especially in middle school through high school, I feel like we do need someone to talk to. It's to be honest with, and when we have those programs, it's a big help. It definitely is a big help, but not just putting anyone there, putting something that's actually trustworthy.
And I'm gonna come in and touch with the part where you said trustworthy. I know so many times for like different generations when it comes to like going into middle and high school, how we have counselors. I know that people really don't feel connected because they're not really putting forth the effort. Because I
Mm,
know our counselor, she does the best that she can because one, she knows
mm,
the worth of us and what we need. And if she can't help us, she'll branch us out to different people that she may know, or she'll kind of maybe contact your parents depending on how serious the situation is. But overall, students should be able to like kind of advocate for how they feel, like if they're feeling depressed, if they're feeling suicidal, if they're feeling anxious, whatever, they should be able to go to someone that has a form, or not even a form, where they have hmm, where they have some type of expertise with whatever they're trying to go to, so they're able to relate and kind of help navigate through different parts of that child's life or whatever phase they're going through.
I also want to talk about having counselors for each grade level. What are your thoughts of that?
I mean, that is something that should be there automatically, like having counselors at each grade level, because the earlier you expose them, it's gonna set them up better for them to understand how to navigate different people. Like or kindergarten, pre-K, you're kind of getting the basics down, but by the time you get into real elementary, like first grade and throughout, you should be able to have a counselor there present to make you kind of aware, like, hey, this person is in the school to help you with whatever you need, whether if it's an issue with a teacher, if it's an issue with a student, if it's an issue with admin, whatever, they should be able to understand that they always have somebody.
I also think it would be a big help for counselors not just having one counselor for every grade, because the point of view of a counselor, I feel like that'd be very overwhelming to have to continuously see different grades, listen to different problems from different people, and you have to keep up with it. I feel like that would be a little much, too much pressure putting on them.
Yeah, because I know back whenever like we're at Seven Pillars and stuff, I know that with our counselor Miss West, she was over middle and high school.
Hmm.
Even though we had like two deans, the counselor was still one of the main people or they went to for things that are going on inside the class, whether it's bullying or whatever.
Mm.
Um, and I know that took a lot of her casework because she couldn't really focus on high school like that because middle school always had something going on. And by the time
Right.
we need something, she was like too exhausted. So that should be like, and what you pointed out was like really important for each grade level to have their own counselor.
Right. Our counselor, she's Miss Make It Happen. You tell her anything, it's be done by the end of the week. She's Miss Make It Happen.
So did you cover the question where it's asking that the youth are suffering inside a major way? Are there any ways that they can help us, or do we ever want help?
I haven't answered that yet.
So I'm gonna let you take that one.
Okay. Yeah, to make it short, yes, we do want help. We definitely do want help. Um I know a lot of people was like, "Oh, I was able to go through it by ourselves," but no one's ever really able to go through it by yourselves. You always have to rely on someone, and not always putting that, as I'm talking about, that pressure on yourself. Yes, we do want help, and a major way that I would say adults can help is just listening. Like, not always trying to be like a problem solver, but like just listening. to what we're trying to say, not always trying to ridicule us for something that we did. Yes, we know we did it wrong. That's why we're coming to you. But we want advice on it. We want to know how can this be fixed.
Yeah, and I've been around like what you said. I've been doing that all my life, like having someone to vent to, because
Mm-hmm.
you don't want like them to like kind of tell you what to do when you're not ready at that, or you're not even at that mindset yet.
Right.
That person should automatically be like your sibling, your parent, an uncle, and aunt, somebody inside a village that you or someone has created around you, because that is one of the key things. Just talking. Talking is a way for us to let go of that negative type of energy, per se.
Yes, and also we want to be able to think for ourselves, not always thinking, oh, they told us to do this, so we're going to do exactly that. I want to be able to go through, um, I want to be able to go through life and then be able to reach the point where I'm able to think of that by myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. So the next question that I see is, how are you or who are experiencing abandonment issues doing? I'm a I'm gonna go ahead and do that one because I'm
Mm-hmm.
kind of a couple of them. With abandonment issues, and I know this by heart with one of my friends. It's one of the toughest things to see someone go through,
Mm-hmm.
especially if they have like abandonment issues. They're trying to figure out, okay, who can I love? Who can I go to? Because not only have their parents or whoever they were raised, who was raising them, abandoned them in a major way, it's also the amount of trauma that that person experienced in life. Because if they're trying to attach to someone constantly, then that's going to show to the other person like, oh, that's not a good thing. So overall, people who kind of have like are experiencing abandonment or have abandonment issues, they should be able to one, of course, get counseling. Whether if it's a type of therapy where you're gonna have to be exposed to it, or if it's like a one-on-one sit-down regular type of therapy.
All right. So another question we see: do schools have student peer mentor support groups?
I'm gonna skip our school because, of course, I'm one of those peer mentors. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about other schools because if they did, because I've seen like a couple of schools that actually have that, where outside of our school, where there are people who are there in practically each grade level to kind of be able for that whole class or that grade level to kind of go to be like that person that will kind of help resolve almost any issue that a teacher cannot. Because I don't know why, and this is something that I've seen with educators, and I'm not trying to throw or shade at JVA because this dude is phenomenal. I've seen educators kind of pick at students.
Mm.
And
Mm.
some of my friends, and I believe we both experienced it at some point.
Mm.
But I've seen people like them picking at you, like, okay, let's see how far I can go at this person. Or it may not even be the teacher; it may be almost the entire staff, where the students don't feel trusted. So, for me, seeing like that happening, and I see other schools, or not even a whole bunch, them in placing like peer mentors, and you see them like rushing over, like, hey, can I go see such and such? And if they understand like what their job is for the students, of course you're gonna let them go, unless it's like that one teacher that secretly kind of envies everybody. I'm not gonna say hate because hate's a strong word. I'm gonna use
Mm.
envy.
It's yes, yes. Especially when you're talking about how some teachers or staff are always like picking at people, then they wonder why we don't really like to go to them about certain things, why they're not the first one to know about things.
Yeah,
Because I feel like when that's happening to you at this point, you think of that person as another one of like not your enemy, but more like someone that's like not in your favor, that does not want to see you prosper.
yeah. And then I know with that, because I know we're kind of getting sidetracked, but this is like kind of like the perfect topic. Almost every school, or better yet, not even almost every school, in every school, we always have some sort of a favorite teacher.
Mm,
'Cause I know over the years you'll have a whole bunch because that's something that's important. You having the teacher to go to,
right.
whether whatever subject. If it's a subject you like, subject you don't like, it's always something fundamental for them to see, either in their same ethnicity or outside theirs. But let's move on to the next question, which is how impactful is youth leadership in the way students learn?
I'll answer that. Um, how impactful is youth leadership in the way students learn? As someone that was youth leadership in my school at some point, I say it's great. Oh my gosh, it's so great. In the way students learn, though, thinking when you have someone in your class, it's like student leadership. I like other people. I like to go to them about things, not just going straight to the teacher. I like going to them about things, not only just about work or education, but about life things. If that makes sense.
And I
Especially, yeah, you go.
I agree with you, but I want to bring up one event which you were only there for like the first day, but I want to bring up like the youth symposium that we held with like another group that we're a part of.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, I
and
met amazing people there.
yeah, but at that event, because it was a youth symposium, seeing like the students lead, because it was actually like a student led event, because the members on that council is all teams, it's a student led council, and for us leading like the workshop, us having other students engaged, it showed like a difference because from me hearing like from past people's experience with going to symposiums, it's not the students leading, it's like the adults and it's always dull and boring and depressing. But for them to see us actually go through and lead with education, that hypes everybody up. So
And one thing you will always hear from Miss Adams, she's over Welcome Authority Teen Council. One thing you will always hear from Miss Adams is when other people come to see us, or other people see us as in meetings or we're doing things, they always talk about how we're able to actually do things, actually lead, not just always arguing. We'll actually be able to have a professional a professional meeting. We're always able to actually do things for ourselves, not always relying on Miss Adams for things.
yeah. Okay, so let's move on to the next question, which is thinking about mental health. Should all grades have recess? I'm
Yes.
a, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that because I have a little brother that's
Hmm.
currently in fourth grade. I know, like within the elementary age, like when you're super young, when you actually need to burn off energy, of course recess is important. Middle school, you're kind of coming in that phase, so recess is kind of important because they're still used to kind of having like that fun approach.
Hmm.
And I know like some fillers in that in like the first year being at like a church for like our building. Um, we always had a period during lunch, or if it wasn't during lunch, it'll be after lunch where we would go outside, we'll have fun, and
Hmm.
we'll go straight back to like education because they understand like we're cooped up in the building all day. All we get is like a couple minutes of leg stretch to go to like in between classes.
Right.
But within high school, I it was a yes and no for me because I know some people they genuinely want to sit down and like continue their work because they're on a good roll. Meanwhile, some other people they'll need like some time to burn off energy or socialize a little bit longer to kind of get that energy back in place for them to continue learning.
Right. Me personally, as someone that's in high school, I am one of those people that need to go outside after a while because now I'm feeling, after a while, just sitting there, I feel bored. I'm no longer learning. I'm just sitting through a lecture that at this point, I no longer want to be here because I'm trying to contain myself to a seat. And my mind is drifting off. I need time to go outside and just touch some grass.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel the same way. Because I'm a you want to share like the way we type or we learn to kind
Yeah.
of relate to this. So
Hmm.
for me, I'm like a kinesthetic and a visual learner. So I would have to be hands on. Like
You're right.
I
Same.
active within that thing instead of sitting down just listening and watching. Meanwhile, watching is a good thing because it ties in with how I need to be hands on because I need someone to show me it, or I'll have to watch something to show me it. And then as soon as I come back to what I'm supposed to do, I know how to do it ASAP.
Right. I'm 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 kind of a fast learner, but I need to see it actually happening in front of me. You can't like type it out and tell me, "Oh, do this," and now sitting here asking you a bunch of questions. I need to actually be in it. I need to see it actually being unfolded in front of me.
Yeah. So let's go to the next question, which is: Are students learning in classrooms and by computers only?
The great thing about our school is that we can do both.
Oh
Seven
yeah.
pillars, we can definitely do both. It's really, yeah, we can definitely do both. Sometimes we go outside and learn. If the class has to do with anything environmental, anything outside, we go outside. If it has to do with law, maybe we go on field trips. We're not only just behind a computer because our school, our founder school, sees that that's boring. It's
Yeah,
not.
she it's best to kind of stay intact, but within like regular traditional schools, they barely get anything. Like unless it's like an elective like agriculture, horticulture, um, mechanical like car mechanics, things that will require you to be outside.
Right.
Everything else, you're technically just sitting down with a piece of paper or a laptop right in front of you just to constantly do work. And I know with in our generation, we're kind of used to it because we're constantly on our devices.
Right. But we do have short attention spans, though.
Yeah, that's the downside about it. But we're used to like being at electronics like 24/7. And honestly, because I'm also someone that does that, that's like one of the negatives because we really don't like socialize with in person.
Right. I feel like I had to relearn how to socialize, especially after COVID, the lockdown. All I was doing is behind a computer, behind an iPad, behind a phone. I had to relearn how to socialize, and now I feel more comfortable actually talking to people, actually engaging in things than just being behind a screen.
Yeah, it really takes a toll. And even with like COVID, with us being constant behind like electronics, and even with us like communicating with our friends online and whatnot, by the time we went back to school like regularly, and I know it's probably like your seventh grade year, and that was my eighth grade year.
Yeah, seventh.
Um, most people were like socially awkward.
Right.
Like
No
you
one to
didn't
talk
know.
to
I
nobody.
some people still have that skill naturally, like me, but I know with other people like you and some other people we know, it took them like a while to kind of get back in a groove of seeing people almost every day, hearing people talk like in person, like
Right.
engaging with others.
Right. And I'm so thankful for my parents for that because they are the main people that helped me break out of that. They saw the path I was going on. I did not want to talk to nobody.
Yeah, it took you a while to get out your shell.
They took me outside.
Okay, so let's. Okay, so with this one, it's saying my nephew always says that they are stressed out about school. What are some things that are stressing us out? Oh, I know school is like a definite stressor because not only do we have like a regular work, we also got dual enrollment, so we're kind of juggling in between like college work and like regular school work.
Me specific. Oh, you
You
can
can
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Oh, me specifically, it's not really only about work. It's about everything that I'm doing right now. As soon as I press submit, that probably like decides my future. If I got this essay wrong, that probably will be so detrimental to me in the future. If I didn't pass this test, will this alter my future? Will I not have a successful future after this? It's always like it's always nerve wracking when you have to press that submit button. You have to answer a question. You have to apply for a class. It is so stressful because you're thinking, is this gonna affect my future in a bad way?
Yeah, because and I personally agree because we're constantly stressing about like what our future is going to be like.
Right.
Because everybody's like their own individual person. I know, like with you wanting to be healthcare, you have to have like a 3.5 or higher, I believe.
Yes, I'm so thankful I have that. Oh my gosh, I'm so thankful.
Yeah, because I know with my type of career, which is I'm in tech primarily, I also have to have that same qualification because it is something rigorous. It's something that you need to actually pay attention to. You need to do your best, of course, but our future is like another thing we really stress about. And what is one more thing we've seen, or our generation or ourselves stress about?
Disappointing our family. That's a big one for me.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If I
This,
feel like every time I get like, I don't like getting nothing lower than a 95 on a quiz because I feel like at this point I'm a hurt. I don't
you feel
like getting
like
80s. It hurts
like
me.
letting people down. Like you feel like you're letting like a whole bunch of people down. That's something I can
Yes.
relate to also. Okay, so let's get into one more question before we close out. Is a messy room sign of depression, laziness, or a mix?
Um, I would say it depends because I know for me, if I'm about to travel the next day,
It's gonna be a mess.
it's gonna be a mess. But if I'm chilling, I'm not always like, if my room is messy, that doesn't mean I'm depressed. It's just like right now, I'm doing something. I know before if my room was messy, you would have known something was wrong. But now my room, it gets cleaned up. It's not like always messy. It gets cleaned up.
Yeah, it really depends on what you really have going on. Some people may
Right.
just like be naturally like they don't really want to clean. Some people have like some serious mental things going on, but it really varies. And I know we said we are gonna get, or this is gonna be our last question, but I'm gonna do one more because
Hmm.
this one has piqued my interest. How can we tell when our preteen or teen is stressed out?
Ooh.
um,
Well, let me answer
I
that one.
yeah, I'm gonna let you go ahead and do that one.
I know me personally, you can tell I'm stressed out when if you're asking me a bunch of questions, if you're like just having a conversation with me, I don't want to talk to you. It's like I'm just giving you quick answers. I'm like, okay, I that's cool. If I'm
Yeah,
giving you quick answers, I'm just like I'm trying to get the conversation over with, and it's like if you're not picking up on the social cues, you're starting to stress me out even more because obviously I have something on my mind.
yeah, because I know like when we first met each other at school, it was kind of like that a little bit.
Right? I was like, okay,
It was like
hey.
that with a lot of people, but I know like with me, it it really varies. Like with me stressing out, of course, I'll kind of try and wrap up things as quick. For me, or I may like make sounds to kind of make like a sign or something to kind of
Mm,
let out a little bit of it, but that can be like an indicator that I'm stressed out. Or I may just go completely silent because, of course, silence for some reason is like a key thing. Like we don't really want to talk. We're trying to focus. We're trying to figure out. Okay, let me see how I can fix the situation.
right.
But yeah, that is our last question for tonight. So, Students for Equity is a platform for students to amplify their voices on social justice issues occurring every day, both within and outside of our schools. And one thing that I'm gonna let you all know on is that we are going to be live every Wednesday this month. So what is today's tonight? So that's our first one. Then we got the 16th and 23rd where we'll be on. So make sure you all tune in on this. Um, so if you are interested on joining or backing up our advocacy, email us at studentsforEquityInSchools@gmail.com. Remember, the for is not FOR, it's the letter for. Students for equityinschools.com@gmail.com. And remember, we're looking for more student leaders. So if you are interested, go ahead and reach out. We'll reply as soon as we can. Educational Entities has proudly sponsored the No Cap Zone podcast. And visit Educational Entities to engage with us as we aim to amplify more of our voices. And we'll see you all next time.
Bye.